Hello and welcome to Hunter Fuel, a supernatural rewatch podcast for adults who enjoy their show with a chaser. I'm Liz.
And I'm Lynn.
Thank you so much for joining us for season 3, episode 14, Long Distance Call. We model responsible drunkenness here. All participants are way over 21. No one is pregnant. No one will be driving, handling weapons, operating heavy machinery, or watching porn on company computers. If you're playing along with us, those are the rules. If you decide not to follow them and you do something stupid, don't blame us. Lynn, what are you drinking this evening?
I am doing bourbon, but it's not the one I was planning on drinking. But I poured the first one and realized there was not enough to get through the episode. So I went,
Oh,
"Oh, that
yeah,
that's not
no.
going to work."
All right. Well, fingers crossed you enjoy yours. Do you have a guess as to what the theme of this week's cocktail is?
I have spent a ludicrous amount of time obsessing over this, trying to figure it out, like to nauseum. It's pathetic. Um,
And where did you land after all that time?
Ridiculously, and if there is one, I'm gonna be amazed. If there is a cocktail that is devoted to Thomas Edison, I'm going to be shocked.
Believe it or not, there is one. However, that is not the one that I chose for this week. The one that I picked, the featured cocktail for this episode is a tin can telephone,
That also
which I
works.
will tell you what is in that for a moment, but let me try that again. I will tell you what is in that in just a moment, but the part of the reason I picked it is because the title of the episode is a phenomenon that no longer exists, and as a
Yeah.
long distance call sort of doesn't exist anymore, and it occurred to me that tin can telephones don't exist anymore because kids just have cell phones.
I say no one really does that game anymore of the tin can.
No, no. So for anybody who isn't aware, back in the day when telephones were wired into the wall, you could, well, you can, the physics still work, but it made a little more sense. You could take two tin cans and connect them with a long string, and as long as the string is kept taut, you can talk to the person on the other end. Like you both have a tin can and you talk into the tin can and then you hold it to your ear, and it works. That the vibrations travel down the string. But now that everybody has cell phones, there's sort of no reason to have tin can telephones. So I thought it was a little antiquated, an antiquated featured cocktail for an episode with an antiquated title. And it is 1 1/4 ounce each of apple brandy, sweet vermouth, and this calls for Suze, which is a French bitter liqueur that I could not procure. So I used a different bitter liqueur. You can use Aperol, Campari, Luxardo, anything like that. 1/4 ounce of Benedictine and 2 dashes of orange bitters. Stir that with ice, strain, and serve with a lemon twist.
Ooh.
Producer Mark, could you bring up our supernatural game cards for us, please? Let's see here.
Oh.
I'm not terribly excited about mine.
I'm gonna have a couple. I'm absolutely gonna
Yeah.
have a handful of them.
Yep.
Are they going to get me anywhere near, I think, even 4 in a row? I will be shocked.
Indeed, indeed. Well, we are always guaranteed one square because the first one is on the house. So if you're playing along with us, there's a link to generate a card of your own in the link tree. Give yourself that center square and
And
cheers.
cheers.
It's really interesting. It's got kind of a strange mix of like sweet and a little bitter and a little herbal. So it's definitely interesting. Um I I don't hate it. I don't love it. Um but you can stir one up for yourself at home and see what you think.
I say, as soon as you went to that combination, then you said herbal, I'm like, okay, I love me a good herbal tea, but that combination just sounds weird.
It is unusual. I will give you that. It is an unusual cocktail. All right. Well, with that, let's get this show on the road. So our then is a little strange because it pulls clips out of order and from different seasons to
Mhm.
tell the story. But it's a we of course have John's death, Dean's
Oh,
demon deal to save Sam, which at episode 14 is the clock is running out on that.
ugh.
We have Sam's desperation to get Dean out of that demon deal. We also have a name drop here. We learn about Lilith and how she wants to be the ruler of hell and sees Sam as being a hurdle that she wants to eliminate on that. And of course, you're not going to believe this, but Sam is keeping secrets.
Yeah, and we see how well that works, and just keep that in the back of your mind.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so now we are in kind of a little stormy situation here. It's a pretty terrible thunder and lightning storm. This actor's name is John Shaw. Lynn, do you watch Chesapeake Shores?
Yes, I do, and he was also in When Calls the Heart.
Okay, so you have seen this actor before.
Yes,
And
and I wanna say he was also in something else. I wa no, oh, no, that was someone else in this episode was on Grey's Anatomy. I'm like,
mm,
there are 3 male actors, I mean, there's more than 3, but 3 actors, and they've all been in stuff that I watch very regularly.
so yeah, you had some familiar faces in this one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I was like, this is a character actor. He's been in a lot of stuff, so he's a
Yeah.
very familiar face. And so I think he delivers a really good performance here is,
Mhm.
this storm is really kind of raging outside, and he's getting these phone calls from someone named Linda who wants she said, don't you love me? Can't I want you to come to me. And he's like, I have a wife, I have kids, but I can't. And the number that's coming up on the caller ID is a very old number. It's not really a number, but it's a way people used to connect using shared phone lines, and it's SHA 33. And again, he's really just absolutely distressed about these calls that just keep coming. He breaks the phone, he tears the wire out of the wall, throws the phone across the room, and it rings
Mm.
anyway.
So
So
this should
and
be
we've got
our first clue that this is no ordinary phone number. I mean, not that
the
the caller ID did not give us the hint to begin with,
right,
but the fact that the phone's not connected and is still ringing
right.
is a major inclination. Now,
Indeed. Eh,
I'll be interested to see if you agree with the internet on this. This scene is considered an oops.
Okay, we're gonna pause it in a moment, so I'll ask you to hold then. But he's like, "Okay, Linda, you win. I'm coming." Puts the gun under his chin. We get a gratuitous blood spatter and cut straight to our title card. So, okay, Lynn, go ahead. What is considered to be an oops in this scene?
The fact that and I don't know whether I agree with it or not, and I've watched this scene
Okay,
about 3 times to figure it out. They Now he has now thrown the phone across the room. So clearly the
right,
phone is not next to him. He is
right.
behind the desk and his head is
Yes,
pointed backwards, which is the way the gun is sort of aimed.
right.
Yet the phone gets covered in blood.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what people are struggling with, is that with the way that that scene was set up, the phone would not have been hit.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and
Yeah,
it is such a great shot
it
of
is.
the phone with the blood spatter across it, and it's so, kind of appropriate considering the theme
Yes.
of this week's episode. But um it's sort of like Sam choking Gordon. Like this is not
Mhm.
something that's physically possible, but it's just so fucking cool. You sort of don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's just it's like it's very appropriate, and
Yes.
had the phone been anywhere near him, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
But it's
Doesn't
just
make
with the
sense. Still cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So, while I'm sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and it does also potentially give us a square.
Well, exactly. I was on that note, I heard you thinking, let's see if while we have it paused, if either one of us have a gratuitous blood spatter, and I do not appear to, which I think is how this episode is going to go for me.
Uh, I don't either,
All right.
but
Well,
but with as awesome as that gratuitous blood splatter was, I think we have to drink to it anyways.
two iconic shots that make no sense. We will
Exactly,
have
that's
shots that sort of make no sense.
exactly. So, cheers.
Cheers. Hmm. I'm just going to have a wee sip.
Oh,
But
I only had a wee once.
okay.
'Cause yeah, I was like, "We've talked about that one so much, we have to drink to
We do.
it."
All right, so we've hit play. Dean is sitting on a park bench. He is eating. So next time we pause, we will look for a Dean eats. We have a Sammy,
Yep.
and Dean was on the phone with
Mhm.
Bobby, and he is now advocating that they do this case. And Sam is like, Dean, we're on a case. And Dean says, whose? Sam is like, yours. So, this is the conversation we're going to hear come up again and again in Supernatural when they're not doing a mythology episode. They're doing a monster of the week. Like, why aren't we after Bella? Why aren't we trying to get the cult? Why are we not trying to get Dean out of his demon deal? Well, because we have no leads. Dean is says nobody knows squat. We can't find Bella. We can't find the cult until we actually do find something. I'd like to do my job. Which goes back to Justin Bella when he says, I think the world's going to end bloody, but until then, I'm going down swinging.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so,
I love his comment earlier, which is what made me giggle. And he's li there he when Sam was like, "You're talking about a job," he's like, "No, we're talking about our feelings and all of this." "Of course we're talking about a damn job. What do you think
yeah,
we're talking about?"
yeah,
I just
yeah. Next, we're going to talk about our favorite boy bands. So
Every time I hear that, I giggle.
it's a good line. It's a good line. Well, this is written by Jeremy Carver, who previously wrote Mystery Spot. So we know that we're in really good hands here. Um, Directed by Robert Singer, the co-showrunner. So now the boys have arrived in Milan, Ohio. They are talking to the widow of Mr. Chesapeake Shores, and she's being fairly grouchy, which I definitely appreciate.
Yeah.
This actor is Ingrid Torrance. She was in Once Upon a Time as Nurse Ratched. So if you watched that show, she will look familiar to you. Um, but they're asking questions, and she's like, "I already answered all these questions with the other agents. Now, damn it, they do not flash their fake IDs, which makes me
Yeah.
sad." Um, Sam goes through
Oh,
the call history on the phone, and he finds that Shaw 33 number. And I love this. He kind of signals, excuse me, to Dean that something is odd about the phone. Um,
but he's not
and
as subtle as he normally is. Like, had she
he's
looked
not super
up
simple. No, you are correct. Neither one of the boys is really on their best con artist game in
no.
this episode. Um, but she finally admits that, a few weeks ago there was a call that she thought her husband was talking to another woman. And Dean says, or sorry, Sam says, "What makes you think that?" And she said, "Because he kept calling her Linda." You know, like she's
Okay.
really annoyed with the two of them. And she said
Mhm.
she picked up the other line, which is something you used to be able to do if you had two phones
Yeah.
on the same line. You could just pick them both up and everybody could talk. And she said there was absolutely nothing on the other end when she was listening. There was just kind of crackling and static, and her husband was talking to no one. Uh,
Oh,
Dean okay, I have a question for you about this. So Dean
okay.
comments when he looks for a photo of Linda, and he says, "She's a babe." Are we gonna count that as him checking out a woman? It's a stretch.
I'll admit, it would not have crossed my mind because usually but I mean, we've stretched it we've called some other things that I mean, technically, he is checking out a photo.
Technically. Alright, so let's consider that for the next time that we pause.
Yeah.
But so the boys have headed off to the phone company to see if they can track down any information on this SHA 33. They're talking to the manager, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, there's some flies. We have a hygiene issue." I'm gonna pause this here
Oh god.
because the porn on this screen is hilarious. We do have, by the way, we had a quirky motel room where the boys
Yeah.
were talking. So this is this the actor who plays Stewie. His name is Anjul Nigam. He was on Grey's Anatomy. We do have a
Yes.
porn. The advertisements on Stewie's computer include a product promise: you will gain 3 inches in length and receive a bonus, BONEUS, gift if you order now.
Oh my lord.
So and poor Stewie is trying, all right, I'm gonna hit play. I just wanted us to get a good look at that screen. Poor Stewie is trying desperately to close all this out. He's crossing his legs, so he appears to be trying to hide what he was up to.
Yeah.
Um, And when the manager leave, Dean is like, "Is that bustyasianbeauties.com?" And he's like, no." And it's clearly Busty Asian Beauties.
Pretty suck.
Word to the wise, their platinum membership, worth every penny. So, um, they do, as they're trying to get him, and I'll say this, Jewel Nigama said, he's not an unattractive man. They've done everything that they can to try to make him look like greasy
Yeah,
and
a stunt
disheveled.
I was like,
And
disgusting.
disgusting, and as they're interrogating him, trying to get him to look up this number, Dean kind of leans in, he invades his space, and he's like, "You've got all this sickening porn clogging up your machine." And I just feel like the guy who just complimented him on the Busty Asian Beauties and recommended the platinum membership is not going to consider it sickening. But Stewie is intimidated. He runs the number, and sure enough, he's like, "God damn, this thing is prehistoric, but
It's
it's
active.
it's been 10 different houses this week, all got calls from this number."
I just hold on. I have to pack this up just for a second because this is funny. Illustrate. Look at the height difference.
I know, I know. Like, okay, Jewel is not a super tall man, but he's not that short,
I'm
and
sure.
he just looks like a child.
Standing next to the two of them, they tower over him.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
Alright, hitting
oh,
play. So the boys have a lead now, or say they have a series of leads because they have this list of houses that have been receiving calls from that number. And Stewie is like, "I was sort of busy."
busy.
And Dean's
Yeah,
like, "Yeah,
right.
yeah, back at it. Use lube." Off he goes. And, um,
Oh my
so
god, that was the most blunt porn reference I think we have ever had. Like, that was so not subtle
y
at
there was
all.
not subtle, not at all. Um, so we don't get to see someone other than Dean drive baby, but they have split the list, and so Sam has a rental car. He goes to one of the houses on the list, and he claims to be from the phone company, checking up on complaints in the neighborhood, and he starts saying, drop call, static, strange voices on the other end of the line, and the father is like, "No, no, nothing." And Sam can see the daughter in the background looking really uncomfortable. Um, so as he's heading back out to the car, she comes out and she confronts him like, "You are not from the phone company. No way you work for the phone company. You're driving a rental car and you're wearing a cheap suit. Like, no, something is not making sense here." And I think this is a good interaction between
Mhm,
Sam and this young lady that um he really kind of meets her where she is,
mhm.
and he's
Yeah,
like, hypothetically speaking, if you were going to tell me you heard something strange, you know I would believe you. I would have told you that I've been right where you're
right,
standing right
right
now,
now.
and I think I can help you, you know? So I think I will admit, I feel like the dialogue is maybe a little bit clunky here. But I think the actor is doing a good job with it. And, she finally says she's been on the phone with her mother, who
Mm,
passed away 3 years prior. Um, so, it starts to be, Sam is starting to get some clues
mhm,
here that, okay, so dead folks are calling relatives.
mhm. Yep,
Um, and he's like, "It's okay. I'm with you. You're not crazy. We're gonna figure this out."
and the
Um,
fact that he's got the puppy dog eyes cranked up to 1,000 is not
yes,
hurting anything.
not hurting anything. Dean calls, he says he was just talking to a grandma who's having phone sex with her dead husband. He makes a necrophilia comment, and a young lady walks by and goes, "Ew," and she overhears him talking about necrophilia. Now her, he definitively checks out. So either
Yes.
way, we have Dean checks out a woman here, whether we call the photo a checkout or not. Um,
Oh,
Sam hangs up, Dean's phone rings, he gets it again, and we just have Dad,
dad.
and then we have a black screen, which we are gonna
Oh,
pause on and check our cards. So, and that is absolutely Jeffrey Dean Morgan, doing the voice work. He couldn't appear in the episode because of his schedule, but, that is absolutely him on the other end of the line. So we have a quirky motel room, a Sammy, Dane
yes.
Eats, a porn reference, dude, and Dean checks out a woman. So
Uh,
let's see what we have here.
okay,
Um,
I have the Sammy, the dude, he eats, and if I don't have the porn, I'm gonna be really pissed off.
I do not have any of them. Oh, no, wait, no,
Oh.
that's not true. I have Dean hits out. Dean hits out a woman. Um, yeah,
Do I have Dean
out of
check?
all that list, that is what I have.
Oh man. Da-da. Yeah, I do not have that one. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, I don't have that one. Um, yeah, too bad the girl didn't try and hit on Sam. Not that she's not a little young, but that square I do have.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
have that one as well, but it doesn't help. So, all right, for my one little square.
I say I have 3. So,
Cheers.
cheers.
We're hitting play. Coming out of the black screen, we are back in the quirky motel room. Dean is telling Sam about the phone call from Dad. And Sam's like, "What did he sound like?" He's like Oprah."
Bro.
"It was Dad. He
Ja
sounded like Dad," you know? And so apparently that's all that he heard was John saying his name, and the call dropped out. And Sam is being very skeptical. Like, "Why would Dad call?" He's like, I don't know. Why is anybody calling anybody in this town? Like, we don't know what's happening here." But Dean is very clearly hopeful that this is in fact John. He's like, what if it really is Dad? Um, and so they're kind of coming up with a plan of, what do we do if he calls back? And Sam's answer is hello.
Oh.
Oh, that's your brilliant plan is hello? Yes. He storms off in a huff.
And what's
Uh,
funny is that and now I can't tell you which episode it was. You probably could. But in a in a similar interaction, except for the roles were reversed, when Sam asked Dean the exact same question and Dean responded very similarly, Sam
oh,
got pissed off at him for that exact same thing. Yet when the
yes.
role so it's like so yeah, so it's like, "Really?
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
pissed off
This
at
is
your
how this
brother
is
when he said it, now you're saying it?"
exactly. Yeah, they're brothers. That's how that goes. So Dean, while he was walking off his mat, he found a brochure in the hotel local activities rack for a local museum with an exhibit dedicated to Thomas Edison, who created a spirit phone. It was one of his final
Fine.
inventions. And the young lady doing the museum tour
Oh
is very
god.
big on the quotey fingers. Uh, who can communicate with the dead.
The dead.
And I love
Uh,
this, and
we're walking.
we're
We're
walking,
walking.
and we're not touching that,
Walking.
and we're walking.
Walking. Yeah,
We
and we
have
have
an
an
EMF
EMF.
detector,
Yeah. No,
and there is
she so clearly is, like, on a schedule. She looks down at her watch, she's
yes,
like, "Okay," and no questions, and we're
yep,
moving.
moving on, places to be. So Sam, as you said, Sam has an EMF detector. He checks out the spirit foam, and there is bubkiss going on with the spirit phone. So Dean says the moldies are calling the freshies. So there is, but they're kind of looking at this phone like, hey, what if this thing is actually working? What if this actually is dad? Sam's asleep in bed. Dean is up staring at the phone, waiting for the phone to ring, and sure enough, on the caller ID is this SHA-33. It's clearly John's voice.
Yep.
Dean is being shifty, hiding the phone call from Sam, because that's always a
That
good sign. And so John, is aware of Dean's demon deal, and he's like, "You're my boy. I love you. I can't watch you go to hell." And this great shot of as they're talking about Dean going to hell, he's standing in front of this red curtain. It's a really great shot, and you can see it like Dean is very much in the dark, with just this little bit of light on his face, and John tells him he has a plan. Cut back to the daughter, from the house that they had gone to visit earlier. Her name is Lainey. And so I don't think this is a chat room, but given the time frame when this was filmed, this isn't I don't think this is necessarily like a Teams call, like a Teams chat like we're used to, but she's having a typed conversation with her
yeah,
mother.
it's basically like an IM.
It
So,
is, it is. It's
yeah.
some kind of instant message. Um And the mother's saying, "Why won't you come to me?" And she's like, "Oh, I did. I went to visit your grave at the cemetery." And she's like, "No, no. I want you to come to me." Um, and there's kind of an interesting effect here where um she turns off, or this should say the screen turns itself off. And in the
Mm.
reflection, you see her in the empty room, and what we presume to be
Oh,
her mother just kind of materializes from behind
oh,
her, walks up and puts her hand on Lainey's shoulder, but Lainey's alone in the room.
oh.
So,
Scares the
she
crap out of her.
yes, yeah, I mean, that's
That
creepy,
would be
right?
terrifying.
Computer turns itself back on, and we've just got this running, "Come to me, come to me, come to me," which I remember decades ago learning to write the code that would make it do this. Back when like personal computers, you had to use codes.
Oh.
Um, all right, so we have a black screen, and let us check for our EMF detector, which, if memory serves, I don't have that one either.
Oh, you're getting robbed. I have that one.
I am robbed. Um, so okay, this would be an incredible stretch. The
Okay.
computer turning itself off and on. Would we
You're
call
go
that an electronics flicker? It's a stretch.
I would not have thought of it as one, but I can see where you're going with it.
And it. it's a stretch. If we decide it's not an electronics flicker, my heart will not be broken.
I can't see it as one, but we've stretched
Okay.
things farther than that.
I
I'll
am
be
totally fine not calling it an electronics flicker. Okay, so I do not have, you said you have the
I have the EMF.
EMF detector. I will
Uh,
congratulate you and join you.
Good, because I was just about to tell you I'm not drinking alone, so
Oh, cheers.
cheers.
Hitting play. So
Yeah.
from the looks of things, Dean has not slept. He's in the same clothes as the last time we saw him. He's been kind of frantically researching. Sam is up and dressed, and Dean is insisting, I've found it. Dad was right. This is an exorcism that will kill demons, not just send them back to hell, but kill them. Dean is convinced there have been electrical storms every place they've been, that he's being tailed. My ass is too sweet to let out of sight. um, and
Oh,
Sam is not, he's not buying it. And what I think is really interesting about this scene is that the brothers have completely switched sides on an argument they've had before. We've heard them talk
yeah,
about this in Faith. We heard it in Houses of the Holy, where historically Dean has said, I believe in what I can see and what I can touch and what we have proof. And we
yeah,
don't have to take things on faith because we're hunters. We have ways of proving these things. And in this episode, Sam is the one taking that argument. Like, this is too good to be true. And in our experience, if it's too good to be true, it is. Like, the Winchesters don't get these kinds of good breaks. Like, something is not right here. Like, a guy killed himself. A little girl is terrified. Anybody who loves these people is not going to encourage them to do this. Something is very wrong here.
yeah.
So, and Dean is just getting really pissed off that he's asking for a little bit of faith that this is John with some way to get him out of this deal. And Sam is like, "Okay, I get it. I hear that you're waiting for a call from Dad to tell you where the demon is, as Dean believes the demon's in town that holds his contract." And Sam is like, "This girl needs me. I need to go check on her. She's scared." Um, and the fight just kind of really escalates
Yeah.
into this shouting match where Dean is like, "You have absolutely no proof. Please just wait till I get back. Just hang out here. I will be back after I check on Lainey."
Which is
Who
not gonna do anything, but
No. Dean
and
doesn't even promise. He doesn't
and
even lie.
Dean is so not acting like Dean. And I know
He
you're that just, ah,
Yeah.
it just
He is absolutely desperate, and he is not himself right now, and I think it kind of goes back to Sam saying, "I'm gonna have to be more like you," and so
yeah,
he's taking Dean's side of the argument. Um, and what I think is really interesting here is Dean can see plain as day the relationship with Ruby is no good for Sam. And
yeah,
Sam can see plain as day that this thing going on, what, I'm going to pause this a second on here because I,
mhm,
I want to talk about this before we move on. Sam can see plain of day that this thing with John is no good,
yeah.
but they can't, like, they can see the other one's mess. They can't see their own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, how often, though, does that happen where someone's looking at you going,
Yep.
"Yo, dipshit."
Yes.
Like No, of
Indeed.
course you're wrong, and it's like and then afterwards, it's like, "Okay, maybe I should have listened to you for the 10,000th time."
Yeah. Yeah. Not we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Um, I will say I do love this phone call. So earlier in the episode, we
Mhm.
saw the phone continue to ring after it had been ripped out of the wall, like wires
Yeah.
dangling in thin air. And now I've paused it on. This is a great shot of this little boy's toy phone. And it's ringing and it's got a little screen on it with the SHA-33. So
Clearly,
there
it does
there
not have to be a real phone.
it does not have to be a real phone. So the classic television show The Twilight Zone back in the day had an episode also called Long Distance Call about a young boy who communicates with his dead grandmother using a toy telephone. Sort of coincidentally, it was number 58 in the series, and this episode is also number 58 in Supernatural. So they line up. Um, there was also a 1986 film called Making Contact with a similar plot point, also with a toy phone. So this shot that Robert Singer gives us of the toy telephone ringing in the foreground with the little boy in the back is kind of an iconic shot
Yeah.
that nods to some of the
Several.
inspirations for the episode. Okay, so we're gonna hit play, and the little boy, um, it's so cute. He answers it,
Mhm.
"Hello, Simon Greenfield speaking." They do this great like
Oh,
dolly out zoom in shot that
yeah,
was made famous by Steven Spielberg in the film Jaws.
yeah,
As like the boy stays in the foreground and the room drops away. It's a great shot. Um, as Dean is getting a call from John,
yep.
uh, Sam is talking to Lainey, and Lainey is saying her mother is telling her she should take all of the sleeping pills and kill herself. And you can see Sam starting
Oh,
to piece it together. And
together.
Lainey says, Why would my mother ask me to do that? Just so I could go to her." And Sam's like, No, no, no. What is her exact wording? And Lainey says, she said, "Come to me," like a million times. And you just get this close up of Sam where he's like, "Lainey, that is not your mother."
Mm. Yeah, but it was interesting, his facial expression, it was like, ding, 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 like, every light went
Yes.
off. It's like,
Yep.
he
Yep.
has suddenly put all the pieces of the puzzle
Yes.
together in 1 split second. It's like,
Yep.
"Oh shit, I have figured this out."
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Um, Cut to Dean. So now Dean believes he has gotten the address of the demon that holds his demon contract, his deal. Um, Dean breaks into the house. Unfortunately, it's kind of a cool shot through the banister, but we don't get to see him pick the lock, which makes me very mad. But he's um, in this house. And it's interesting that he starts to just kind of like walk around, and you see him like preparing a jug of holy water. He's
Okay.
dropping the
Yeah.
rosary in it. He's painting a demon trap under the carpet, and cutting
Oh,
to Lainey's little brother is
oh,
now playing in traffic. Sam grabs him just before he's turned into
ugh,
street meat by a giant tow truck. Um,
oh,
and Sam calls what he believes to be Dean and says, it's a croccata." And there's a joke here about, "Is that a sandwich?" Um, and Sam's like, "They live in filth." Dean
Mm.
on the other end of the phone says, "Oh, didn't we see all those flies at the phone company?" Sam is it's now at night. Sam is kind of breaking into the phone company. He can see Stewie down at his sort of ancient computer command
Yeah.
center at the phone company. Um, and we also do not get to see him pick a lock
Wow.
there. Like, God damn it, can't somebody like actually break into a building that we can see here? Um, Dean or Sam calls Dean and he gets a voicemail. It's like, this is Herman Munster.
Yeah.
So Sam attacks Stewie in the
Yeah.
parking lot because he's convinced Stewie is the crocata. And we can see him holding this knife up against the back of Stewie's neck. And Stewie is just like, I don't know what I can like, please don't kill me. I can get you a better rate. And then here comes the manager with a bat and he honks Sam in the head. Sam drops his weapon and he is
Yeah.
unconscious.
Unconscious.
And very sadly for
Not
Stewie, he thinks everything's all better and the crocata beats him
what
to death. I'm gonna hold here for just a second past the black screen, and Sam is tied up.
tied up.
So I'm gonna pause this here.
And he's also unconscious.
He would yes, we had Sam is unconscious,
Conscious.
he's tied up, we had a weapon drop, and somebody conked on the head.
Alright, so
We
I have
already looked
if
go
someone
ahead.
conked on the head,
Yeah,
un
okay, good for you.
unconscious
I
person.
do actually finally have one.
Yay!
Yay. Let's see. That might be the only one I have.
Holy shit, you are really getting shafted tonight.
Indeed, and not in a fun way. Uh,
No!
okay. So that is the one that I have. I will have a dainty little shot here.
Well, I got I got 3, so if you wanna have a slightly
Oh,
larger one on my behalf,
awesome. Good for you. I'm glad one of us is doing well.
well, they're all kind of scattered. I have 3 in a row twice.
All right. Wow. Congratulations on your three in a row twice.
Cheers.
Years. I will say that is really growing on me.
So is my bourbon, but I don't know if it's the fact of how much of it I've drank.
Also true. Also true. All right, hitting play. So Stewie is tied up,
Yep.
and so Clark, the manager,
Oh,
is the bad guy here, and
yeah.
Stewie is trying to kind of talk him out of this. He's like, "I know you're a good man," and this performance here from this actor is
Oh,
really chilling. I think he's like,
yeah.
"Am I a good man?" And of course, Sam knows he's not a man at all, and he just stabs
Uh,
Stewie right in the chest. So, R.I.P. Stewie.
do
And
oh,
he leans forward, and the blood just like dribbles.
oh God, I hate that
Mm.
mouth.
I know
Ugh,
he's got the mummy like unhinged jaw, and a
ugh,
mouthful of these really gnarly teeth, and he
ugh,
sucks out Stewie's soul. And he even,
ugh,
like, rubs his like, he wipes his mouth
uh,
like he had
ugh,
a messy meal. Um, so I think it's a great performance from this actor, like, the way that he moves is really sort of
yeah,
unnatural. Um, this appears to be a police officer. We can see there's a guy in the foreground with, like, a
yeah.
patch on his uniform. He's got an "I heart guns" sticker on his locker. And he's getting a call
Mm.
from a little girl who says, she calls him daddy, so, and she says, I had to call. I know who killed me,
Oh,
daddy. Um, and so, the Crocata told Sam he was killing his
yeah,
brother. And this is how he's doing it. He's impersonating this man's
yeah,
dead daughter and telling him that the man who killed her is in the house.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
back to back to Sam, and poor Stewie just gets like shoved off to the side and
oh,
discarded like, an empty cheeseburger wrapper. Um and so the Crocata is saying, I followed the trail. I found all your numbers. And as he's monologuing, you can see Sam like pulling it. It's kind of fun that he's tied up with a
mhm.
phone cord.
Yeah,
So Sam is like pulling on the phone cord. Um, and this is
yeah,
a little bit of a social commentary here, right? Where he's
yeah,
he's saying like you're all so connected, but you don't have community anymore. Like, people used to watch out for each other. It used to be hard for me to lure people away. I'd get to eat maybe 2 souls a year, but now it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet,
mhm,
because, like, you're connected, you're not connecting.
yeah,
Cut to Dean. Dean is hiding in the guy's house. He sees the guy pull up, and again, now he thinks he's dealing with a demon
demon.
here. So he's got his holy water jug ready to rumble. If we hadn't previously had a weapon drop, I would say that we were about to get one. But he's in the house. The guy's taking his time coming in. Dean
Mhm,
drops the jug of holy water. It splashes everywhere. So the homeowner has a double-barreled shotgun. Dean waits for him to reload, and they have kind of a brawl here, and it's sort
yeah,
of kind of a basic like punchy
but
brawl, but it's pretty violent. Like there's some
yeah,
headbutts, and he like slams Dean down onto a table. Dean starts like kicking him in the
mhm,
gut. Um, so some of these hits are gratuitous, right? Because he
yeah,
thinks this is the demon who's got his soul, and he's taken some frustration out on this guy. Back to Sam.
mhm,
Um, Crocata is
um,
continuing to
mm,
monologue about, whispering to people for months, trying to draw them out.
yeah,
Sam is continuing to work on the ropes, quote
yeah.
unquote ropes. Um, but he's essentially saying like the modern world is great. Now I've got DoorDash. Like all I have to do is make a call and souls deliver.
Mhm.
Like this is
The
fantastic.
oh
He
god, they're
opens his
so
mouth. He
cheap.
gets ready to eat Sam's soul, and Sam, just in the nick of time, gets loose from his like being tied up with the phone
Mhm,
cord. And now he and the Crocata have this. He drops his weapon. The Crocata has a knife, and he comes at Sam. Back to Dean and this homeowner. I love this is kind of cool where Dean like takes his gun and ejects the clip one-handed
yeah,
and throws the pistol away. That's pretty cool. And he shows this guy like, I've got you now. I've got you in this demon trap after they bust through a door. And the guy's standing in the middle of this demon trap. Dean starts to read the exorcism off a piece of paper. And this guy just walks out of this demon trap like it's not even there. And
yeah,
Dean is like, oh, fuck, this is a mistake. We've got a son of a bitch.
and bitch. Mhm.
And so this is interesting, and I'm curious what you think about this because it's in the subtitles. I've listened to it a couple times. I can't hear anybody say it. So I'm interested what you think. But before we come back to that, so Sam and this Crocata are fighting. And what I really love is Sam is absolutely he's empty-handed against a guy with a
Oh,
knife who's a monster and stronger than he is, and he's
yeah,
stone-faced.
yep,
Got a couple of these, like, fights, and Sam just jams his
yeah,
head against, one of these,
okay,
hangers on a pegboard. drives it right into the back of this guy's head, which we saw earlier with the knife with Stewie is apparently how you kill a crocata. Dean is
Yeah.
now continuing the fight with the homeowner, and he realizes is not a demon. So now he's trying desperately not to kill this guy. And Dean is like, "I'm sorry, I didn't kill your daughter." And there's this great exchange. "What are you doing here?" And Dean just says, "I don't know." Um, and I think it's fantastic.
Oh.
Um, okay, we've just got a couple minutes here. So Dean has got a shiner. Sam comes in, he's got a shiner. And Dean is like, "I see they improved your face." Sam's like, "Right back at
Right
you."
back at you.
So the 2 boys are gotten beaten up in their respective fights,
Yeah,
and, and Dean has to admit he was wrong,
yeah.
and that he was giving his brother a hard time, sort of for nothing. I would call this a heartfelt bromance.
Oh, hell
Uh,
yes. 100%.
so, and again, Sam tries to kind of brush it off, and Dean is like, "No, no, I just wanted to believe so badly, and we've got this great. I'm staring down the barrel at this thing,
Mhm.
hell."
Oh, yeah.
And he finally just says,
I'm
"I'm
scared.
scared."
Oh,
And it takes him forever to get this "I'm scared" Sam out, to admit to his little brother.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And then he repeats it. He says, "I'm really scared."
"I'm really scared." And he finally gets this out and he
Oh,
says, "I know I was being ridiculous about this. I was desperate. Uh, and I can't expect dad to show it with some miracle last minute. Like the
oh,
only person I can get that can get me out of this is me." And Sam says, "And me." And I love this, like, it's an emotional moment, so, of course, Dean has to crack a joke, like, "And me, this is
yeah.
what you come with back with, and me."
I was say, I thought that
So I'm
I love
like,
that. Do you want a poem?
"Wow." So, okay, so it's sort of like at the end of, A Very Supernatural Christmas, like, "Okay, we're just gonna drink and watch the game then."
Yep.
And that is our episode. So the last thing we have to look for then is a heartfelt broment, which I think I might actually have that one, and I do.
Yay! Oh, wait a minute, didn't we get someone being thrown up against a wall?
You know what? I would say yes. I mean, we had like through doors and all kinds of things. I would say yes. Well, even if it was a table or through a door, we'll call it a wall.
Well, I
Um,
was gonna say, he went through, like, a mesh thingy, it was close if that wasn't close enough to a wall, I don't know what the fuck is.
I agree. We'll just say wall throw.
So, yeah,
So I have
I
that
had
one as well.
yay! Oh, and actually, you know what's really pathetic is I'm staring at this, I just found Quirky Motel Room.
Oh.
I've I've
Yeah,
been
make sure
looking
to give
at
yourself that one.
I've been looking at
We spent a
Wacky
lot of
Diner Wacky
oh,
Diner this entire time, and I just spotted the Quirky Motel Room.
yeah, no, we spent a lot of time in the quirky motel room in this episode, so make sure you give yourself that one.
Oh, I
Um,
believe me, I did. Um,
all right. Well,
oh,
cheers.
hold I yep, yep, go ahead. I'll catch up, I promise.
Okay, I'll drink it slowly.
Okay. Cheers. I think we can definitively say that, I beat you on that one. I have 3 in
Yes.
a row times 3.
Yeah, well done. And I have 3 in a row.
Oh,
Um,
good.
with a total of 5.
I have actually, no, I got 4 in a row. Sorry, I missed one.
Oh, good for you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can count tonight, I promise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
5, 6,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
10,
10,
11, 12.
11, 12. I was gonna
All
say, no,
right.
I
Well, you have lost by the least. Congratulations. That takes
yay!
us to one thing you loved and one thing you hated.
Okay, well, I didn't think I had an answer to this until the 11th hour, and I do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with the one thing I loved, and
Excellent choice.
it was the heartfelt bro moment at the very end, specifically Dean. It wasn't much of a monologue, but the opening up of Dean, because we don't see that. Yes, we've had a fair number of heartfelt bro moments. You don't see Dean open up like that very much, and I thought that
You
that was
don't.
very well acted and written and just performed and everything. I loved how that came off.
I agree with you. And it is, I think, not a coincidence that we are starting to see a very different Dean as he comes to grips with the reality that he's going to die soon.
Yeah.
That he's starting to accept that he has a limited amount of time to say things he wants to say to his brother. And so I think you're absolutely right. We are seeing a much more emotionally open and available Dean
Yeah.
than we would typically see because Dean knows that pretty soon he's not going to be able to say it if again. And this is something that we're going to see throughout the series that anytime Dean has reason to believe he's not long for this earth, he gets much more emotionally available.
Yeah. But I like the fact that, I mean, we've gone from kind of one extreme to the other this season, from him just being flat out ridiculous and wanting to smack him upside the head
Yes,
to, but they don't, what I liked is that they're not overdoing it. Like,
I agree.
they're choosing their moments wisely.
I
And
completely agree.
yeah, and putting those monologues correctly placed, and not,
Yep,
and it's not like, "Oh dear God, we're not in a Hallmark movie." So, especially this time of year, I love me a good Hallmark Christmas movie.
yep.
It That's not what I wanna see.
Supernatural, ain't it?
Yeah, Supernatural ain't it, and Dean is not a Hallmark boy.
No.
So,
No, indeed, indeed. And it's I agree with you that they're not overplaying their hand, but this
yeah.
season we go from wanting to smack Dean to wanting to hug him. You know?
Yeah,
And they play it well, I think. How
yeah.
about one thing you hated?
One thing I hated, purely because I almost thought they did overdo it, and I thought it was not nauseating, but I was like, "All right, we get the point," was the computer scene with the 10,000 porn references up. I was like, okay, don't get me wrong, it was funny,
It's
but it's
funny.
like, come on, it's like 1 or 2 would have been kind of funny, but there were like 8. And I mean, yeah,
So
I
you're where
I get the point of it and all of that, and then there was the leg cross to, in my opinion, cover up a hard on.
that is my assumption as
Yeah,
well. based on tools and performance. That is my assumption. I will say I hear where you're coming from, and I am going to step out on a limb and presume that you have never been stuck in a tornado because that actually happens where like you just get stuck in this like the pop-ups just keep like forgive me coming and coming and coming and you can't you can't close them
I mean, don't
fast
get me
enough.
wrong. I've been known to open up my computer and just wanted to read an article and just had the pop-ups keep coming and coming and coming.
Right.
But I more took it as he was trying to watch all those porn sites all at the same time. And in which case it's like, dude, what
Pick one.
pick one. Like one or two would have done it. Like not trust me from experience, but I mean, one or two I
But
would think would have gotten the job done. But yeah, and then to
I'm
look at
watching producer Mark's face.
see every time I
I
look down,
am
he looks
I
so
am not going to claim to be an expert on how men consume porn, but I can say, that I have experienced a tornado for myself, and they
and
his kind of desperation to, like, get all of these little pop-up windows closed as quickly as possible was, I resonated with that. Like, I've been there, bro. I didn't want this. I was just curious. I didn't want this. All right.
yeah,
So I have
but then just to at the I mean, not that that wasn't bad enough. I mean, that was kind of funny, but I mean, let's just I mean, obviously, we know they are not corporate, but then to look at the 2 guys and go, "Yeah, I was kinda busy. Are we done now?" It's like, "Oh, for the love of God."
uh, I was jerking off, and I'd like to go back to it. Go away. You're bothering me.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Okay." The first part was kind of funny. The second part is overkill.
They did forgive me. They did flog that joke for all it was worth.
Yeah, and as a result, it went on my "You have now taken it too far, this is ridiculous, and you should have
Yep.
cut that a lot earlier and kept the cute" like, it would have been much funnier had you cut that
Yeah.
down to size.
It was yeah. It was too big. We couldn't handle it. It was too big. It was too much. It was it was a 90-second scene in a 42-minute episode, and that's all we're talking about. So, entertainingly enough, what I loved and what I hated are very similar to yours in that, I was a little broader, however, in that I think Jensen's performance throughout this episode is really fantastic, and as you said, it's like he's treading a line here where he's trying to be authentically Dean when Dean is in, he's sort of in extremis here, that he's really desperate, and you can see all of that in Jensen's performance,
Yeah.
and I think he does a fantastic job. The thing that I hated and the scene that you're mentioning is sort of I think evidence of this is I hate what terrible con men both boys are in this episode that
Yeah.
like, okay, I do like that in these early seasons, we see them try to figure out this whole like bluffing thing and they make some mistakes. But this is like he literally goes from busty Asian beauties, all right, man, to sickening porn to like, yeah, back to stroking it, my brother. You know, like and Stewie doesn't pick up on any of this, and it's just like and as you said, like, Sam was not being terribly subtle with the, "Hey, Dean, look at the caller ID, suspicious, boinga boinga." Um, and
Yeah.
it just felt like after 3.5 seasons, they should be a little more subtle than this.
Well,
Um,
usually you and I have talked about this, that the boys can have entire conversations with the glance of an eye and
yes,
are usually amazingly subtle that if you don't know the characters as well as after almost 4 seasons as we do, you wouldn't pick up on the subtle, like, flick of the eye or, like,
right.
the jawline changing or whatever. So it's like, really? You went from that subtle to, like, entire conversations being made by your eyebrow or your eye to,
Yes,
like,
I agree.
come on.
I agree with you. Oh, all right. Well, that is last call.
Oh.
Thanks so much for coming along with us for the ride. If you like what we're doing here, be sure to tell your friends. Please also like our videos and subscribe so it's easier for other people to find us too.
And if you wanna see us make more bonus content where you will see Liz and I just completely not knowing what the topic is until we pull it out of Ask Jared and even having more cocktails than we do during these podcasts, please give us some topics to talk about through socials, emails, however you like to
Mhm.
keep in touch with us. We would love to hear from you.
We absolutely do love to hear from our SPN family. So comment, send us an email at hunterfuelpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hunter Fuel Podcast. In our next episode, we'll be discussing season 3, episode 15. Time is on my side when Sam and Dean have sex dolls in their beds. Until then, stay safe, everybody. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. I have better bourbons in the house. It's not undrinkable.
No, but yeah, you paid for that one, and God damn it, you're going to enjoy it.
Or goddamn it, I'm gonna drink it. Might help if I actually join the party. Leave it to me. I might have pre-gamed ever so slightly.